Good morning, everyone. I'm Reverend Jennifer Nordstrom, honored to serve you as your senior minister. Our opening words this morning are the poem, A Theology Adequate for the Night by Nancy Schaefer. A theology adequate for the night. Not God as unmoved mover, one who set the earth in motion and then withdrew. Not the one to thank when those cherished do not die, for providence includes equally power to harm. Not a God of exactings, as if love could be earned or subtracted. But this may work in the night. Something that breathes with us as others sleep. Something that breathes also with those sleeping so no one is alone. Something that is the beginning of love and also each part of how love is completed. Something so large that wherever we are not separate. Something that teaches us the way to start over. Night is the test. When grief lies uncovered and longings show clear, when nothing we do can hasten earth's turning or delay it. This may be adequate for the night, this holding, this something that steadfastly breathes us, which we are also learning how to breathe. Will you please rise in body or spirit for our opening hymn of hope, the insert in your order of service.
I carry hope in my heart, even when I don't feel hope. I decide to make a home in my heart, even as the darkness sets. I do my best so I can rest, knowing there is hope. I carry hope in my heart, the only way to heal the stars, the side of heaven, so I'll intend to make a home in my heart. I carry hope in my heart, even when I don't feel hope. I decide to make a home in my heart, even as the darkness sets. I do my best so I can rest, knowing there is hope in my heart.
Hello, good morning. I am Reverend Kimberly Tomchek Carlson, and it is my honor to serve as your Minister of Religious Education. And the story I have for you today is a family favorite. It's called Giraffes Can't Dance, and it's by Gilles Andre and Guy Parker Reese. Gerald was a tall giraffe whose neck was long and thin, but his knees were awfully crooked and his legs were rather thin. He was good at standing still and munching shoots off trees, but when he tried to run around, he buckled at the knees. Now, every year in Africa, they hold a jungle dance where every single animal turns up to skip and prance. And this year, when the day arrived, poor Gerald, well, he felt so sad because, well, when it came to dancing, he was really very bad. The warthogs started waltzing, and the rhinos rocked and rolled, and the lions, they danced a tango that was elegant and bold. The chimps did a cha-cha with a very Latin feel, and the 8 baboons, they teamed up for a splendid Scottish reel. Gerald swallowed bravely as he walked toward the floor, but the lions, well, they saw him coming, and they began to make a roar. "Hey, look at that clumsy Gerald," the animals all sneered. "Giraffes can't dance, you silly fools." "Oh, Gerald, you're so weird." Poor Gerald just froze up. He was rooted to the spot. They're right, he thought. "I'm useless. I feel like such a clot." So he crept off the dance floor and he started walking home. He never felt so sad before, so sad and so alone. And then he found a little clearing and he looked up at the sky, and the moon can be so beautiful, he whispered with a sigh. "Excuse me?" croaked a cricket, who'd seen Gerald earlier on. "But sometimes when you're different, you just need a different song. Listen to the swaying grass, listen to the trees. To me, the sweetest music is those branches in the breeze. So imagine that the lovely moon, well, it's playing just for you. Everything makes music if you really want it to." With that, the cricket smiled and picked up a violin. Then Gerald felt his body do the most amazing thing. His hooves started shuffling, making circles on the ground, his neck gently swaying, and his tail swishing around. He threw his leg out sideways, he swung them everywhere. He did a backward somersault and leapt into the air. Gerald felt so wonderful. His mouth was open wide. "I'm dancing, yes, I'm dancing," Gerald cried. And then, one by one, each animal who'd been there at the dance arrived while Gerald boogied on and watched him quite entranced. They shouted, "It's a miracle! We must be in a dream. Gerald's the best dancer we've ever seen. How did you learn to dance like that? Please, Gerald, tell us how." But Gerald simply twirled around and finished with a bow. He then raised his head and looked up at the moon and stars above. "We can all dance," he said, "when we find the music that we love." The end.
Dear ones, I am delighted to share with you the news of a birth in our congregation. Rafa Rasman Lechese was born on March 2nd at Aurora Sinai Midwifery to parents Nora Rasman and Nora Lechese. Rafa was born at 6 pounds 4 ounces and surpassed his birth weight by day 10. Rafa and parents are at home and healing and deeply in love. It is our tradition to light our candle of life for a birth, an adoption, or a death among our members. So today, we light our candle of life in honor of Rafa Rasman Lechese. I invite you to join me now in a time of contemplation, which will be followed by silence, followed by the seated singing of Spirit of Life. Take a moment to come into your body. Do whatever you need to do to make that happen. Whether it's feeling your spine or following your breath. Let's come into being here and now. Spirit of life and love, Holy One of our being and our becoming, that which is sacred within, among, and beyond us. In this world of living and dying, where all our mortal loves dance with all that is, help us find the song that sings to our hearts, the song that we love, whether it's the swaying grass or the crashing waves or the moon and stars or the beating hearts of our beloveds. Help us come into the music of the world, the dance of the universe. Help us come into concert with all that we love, all of our neighbors, with life itself. May it be so.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the First Unitarian Society of Milwaukee. I'm Desiree Pointer-Mace, and I'm truly grateful to serve as your worship associate today. We are a faith community of many identities. We welcome people of all genders, sexualities, ages, races, ethnicities, histories, and bodies. We welcome your mind, your heart, and your spirit. We welcome all you are carrying with you today and all your heart longs to set down. We welcome all the people watching online as we stream this service. Good morning. We enthusiastically welcome guests joining us today. If you are a visiting guest, we invite you to fill out a welcome card located in the pew rack in front of you and drop it in the offering plates that will come around in a few minutes. After the service, please join us for a social hour across the hall in the Leanhouse Common Room.
Some accessibility notes: you can find hearing assist devices and large print hymnals and orders of service at the back of the sanctuary, as well as worship activity bags for children and anyone who wants them. There's a fragrance-free area in the front right pews. If you're watching online, you can enable closed captioning on your YouTube's closed captioning on your viewing device. I have some announcements for you this morning. Join Nick DeVia and Fiona Higgins in a celebration of Ostara and an introduction to the reformed UU Pagan group. Join them in the parlor after second service for an opportunity to see a UU Pagan ritual could look like. No experience necessary. The First Church Chancel Choir will be joining area Christian and Jewish choirs for an interfaith concert titled We Come Together, today at 3 p.m. at Congregation Shalom in Fox Point. The choir invites you to enjoy the beautiful choral and handbell music and a reception to follow. Apply to be a worship associate. Worship associates help develop Sunday themes for worship in monthly meetings with the ministers and music directors and work on individual Sunday services one-on-one with the worship leader. WAs serve for 2 years, including summers. It's awesome. Totally do it. Submit your application by March 31st on the church website. Every week, we have an opportunity to practice our values through sharing our resources. Our pledges are at the core of our spiritual practice of generosity. In addition, the church shares half of all the non-pledge cash in our offering plate with a community organization practicing our value of interdependence. Today, we share the plate with Plastic Free Milwaukee, whose mission is to reduce the harms that unnecessary plastics have on environmental health, public health, and social justice. The offering will now be gratefully received as we sing, seated, our children's recessional hymn number 95, More Love Somewhere. I invite all children, youth, and RE volunteers to sing the first verse of the hymn and then follow Reverend Kimberly to the Leanhouse Common Room and then downstairs for religious education. If your child needs to check in for RE, please accompany them. May the practice of giving bring us joy. The day after the election, I put down my phone and picked up my knitting needles. As part of an effort to prioritize real-world things over digital abstractions. Similarly, I worked to see people more in person than online social media interactions. One of my longest practice of doing this is with my good friend, A. For years, I mostly saw her in the dark. Many years ago, we discovered that we shared a love of early rising and walking along the lake. So for a long while, Thursday mornings have meant setting out in the pre-dawn, headlamps on, in summertime greeting the sunrise over Lake Michigan, in winter returning before the sun has even peeked over the waves. We've walked in 70 degrees and 7. She has a fast stride, so it's great exercise keeping up with her. As we arc around South Shore Park and along the beach, we've built trust through talking about the big and little things: family, parenting, election volunteering, anti-racist work in our faith communities, professional challenges, college applications, heartbreaks, good books, not so good books, celebrations, successes, challenges. About a month and a half ago, she shared some hard health news with me. A headache, then a trip to urgent care, then a diagnosis of a mass, then a surgery, then pathology and prognosis. Words like cancer, incurable, fast, fatal, that terrify and upend. Since then, I've seen her brilliance, kindness, caring, and connective strengths mirrored back at her many, many, many-fold as her beloved community has shown up to walk by her side. We're now at the vernal equinox, when light and dark balance. A and I get together more often now in the light of day, hanging out and connecting like we've always done, but now with a new lens on life, love, community, family. Last week, I was sitting in her armchair and knitting as we chatted. Her eloquence in reflecting on life is unchanged and also newly resonant. She's focused on living each day, making only the decision in front of her, loving herself and all the people around her. One friend has already made bookmarks for her to give to visitors with those loving reminders on them. I tucked mine into my knitting bag. A shared that it has been astonishing to see the network of her trusted community support so visibly. Each of us who is lucky enough to count her as a friend and loved one is a node on that net, even if we haven't met all the other nodes or even know many of their names. We are connected to each other through her, are intertwined, because it's really that great to be her loved one. As we move from the vernal equinox, we get a little more sunshine each day. It's slow change, but sure. The ice breaks up along the lakeshore, clicking as it softens. The migrating birds sing the sun up over the horizon. I bind off my knitting project. I cast on another. Paying attention, not too much, not pulling too hard, giving it soft focus. Making one stitch, then another, no shortcuts. Trusting that I'm creating something stronger, interwoven, more beautiful, and utterly unique. Mostly I'm following a pattern, someone else's design. But through A, I can see in a new way how knitting communities together doesn't need either pattern or design, but it does need trust. The reaching out we do to others without knowing how that will be met. But if we reach out and connect with love, maybe that's how we become interknit. Maybe that's what trust is, a network created of the love and care we show to each other, holding us in joyful times and in sorrowful ones. We don't always even know it's there, but sometimes we're lucky enough to have folks who help us see it in the clear light of day. Thank you.
In the book Confessions of a Born-Again Pagan, Anthony Kroneman, former dean of Yale Law School, tells his story of developing a deep faith in the natural world. Kroneman takes the reader on an intellectual journey pursuing meaning in this world. For decades of his life, Kroneman pursued a meta-narrative, some great overarching explanation of this aliveness in which we cohabitate. In his journey from the Abrahamic traditions to Aristotle and beyond, Kroneman longed for an intellectually honest narrative of the meaning in the world that would also touch his spirit. He wrote, "A life without the yearning to reach the everlasting and divine is no longer recognizably human." While Kroneman could not accept supernatural explanations of the world, he still needed a story, a meaning-making narrative that honored the awe and the mystery and the power that is honestly alive in the natural world. Like many Unitarian Universalists, Kroneman eventually found the marriage of intellectual honesty with awe and divinity in the philosophy of Spinoza, who understood divinity as, quote, "the eternal intelligibility of the world itself, now expanded to include the whole of reality." The eternal intelligibility of the world itself, now expanded to include the whole of reality. This is as close to an intellectually honest definition of the word God as one can come, but also the word God is not necessary in it. It could just as easily be called the universe, or the mystery, or the great unknown. The Tao Te Ching says, "The unnameable is the eternally real. Naming is the origin of all particular things. Free from desire, you can realize the mystery. Caught in desire, you can only see the manifestations. And yet, the mystery and the manifestations arise from the same source." Put more simply, God is the name of the blanket we put over the mystery to give it a shape. That quote is from Barry Taylor, the road manager for AC/DC. Taylor became a Christian during AC/DC's Highway to Hell tour and is now an Episcopal priest because the mystery is a shape-shifting trickster, playful and curious and funny. Unitarian Universalism's approach to God is collectively agnostic. Within us, we have individuals who believe a variety of different things about God, from atheism to humanism, to Judaism, to paganism, to Christianity, to religious naturalism. Collectively, we believe that what you know about God is a piece of the truth. We believe that each of our individual understandings are one jewel of a shining kaleidoscope of the whole truth, one piece of the intelligibility of the world. In seminary, one of my closest friends, PK, was a religious naturalist. I was a theist, but again and again when we were in class together, we made very similar meanings of the same stories, and we just used different names, different language in our interpretations. After many conversations trying to zero in on exactly where it was that we disagreed and arrived at these different namings of things, we drilled our difference down to this. I believe that the universe, or all that is conscious and benevolent, and PK did not. But then, when I would explain further, qualify that this universe consciousness is infinite, and therefore completely unlike and unintelligible to a tiny, finite human being like myself, PK would say, well, yeah, that's true. And we would be back on the same page again. The eternal intelligibility of the world itself now expanded to include the whole of reality. A couple of years ago, when the solar eclipse's path of totality crossed North America, PK shared this story. This is PK writing now. The universe ensured I had the opportunity to observe an astronomical event from the exact overlook used by the Hohokam to do the same 800 years ago. Now for you all, this is just a side note, the Hohokam civilization lived for about 1,500 years, starting around the time of Christ, in the area that we currently call Arizona. They were expert farmers with the most intricate irrigation systems of any civilization in North America, and they had complicated economic and political systems and made beautiful petroglyphs. So PK again. By the greatest of happenstances today, I saw the solar eclipse. It went like this. A, I forgot the eclipse was happening. B, I went hiking on a new trail with two beloveds. We were up at 5:50 a.m. The hike was about an hour longer than we expected, and it was mostly uphill. C, on the way back down, one of these beloveds mentioned how they know an overlook where the petroglyphs of the Hohokam tribe are. Yes, please, PK says. We find these petroglyphs, and one is a symbol that I've heard relates to observing celestial bodies. D, a man is sitting at this overlook, wearing a Santa Fe t-shirt and looking up at the sky. I comment, I wonder, what are you looking at, sir? He sees us and he comes over and he offers us a few of his spare eclipse glasses. At which point I realize the changing quality of the light is due to, oh yeah, the eclipse. We could have easily missed it entirely. We weren't in the ring of fire, so it was partial. But instead, we were there, within the 5-minute window of the eclipse, with someone who was there to offer us the spare correct tool so we could actually see it from a location with deep significance for our human ancestors. PK concludes, feeling thankful. Gratitude. Gratitude is the natural response to an earthly abundance and beauty beyond anything any of us have ever earned. The great shining moon in the sky, pulling on our seas, the crashing of the waves on the shore in the exact beat that soothes the soul, the bird song telling our nervous systems we are safe, the warmth of our beloved's bodies, warm creatures nestled next to us, a fire, a cup of tea, the smell of the wet earth as spring shudders. The world, it sings. The universe sings to us. Our lives within it sing to us. And even in grief and mourning and loss, even in horror, the world keeps singing, keeps living on, insisting on interconnected beauty, intertwined, interwoven, knitted, entangled immortality. Kroneman wrote, "Although we as individuals cannot be immortal, the world is. And every increase in our understanding of it, every increase in our power to sing its song is a further, deeper experience of the deathlessness of the world." Kroneman's born-again pagan faith sees immortality in our interdependence with the world which lives beyond us. It is our dying that makes us immortal as we become part of the larger world yet again. And our living is what sings that world's song. In our living, we can align ourselves with the world's beauty and truth, and we can witness our entanglement in that interconnected immortality that lives on and on and on. Here is a truth that can hold us, whether or not we believe in a God by that name or any other. We are held in a larger reality out of which individual, temporary, finite lives spring for just a few minutes of animated glory, and then back into which they return. Death reconnects us to the larger living system. And though that system may change, may even become unrecognizable to humanity as we are today, the world, the universe, will live on for eons and eons, for time that is unimaginable. Every atom of matter, every wave of energy will live on, simply moving into a different form, forever. The change of the form remains a reason to grieve, surely. Our bodies will all die. This form of living will die. This society will die. All of it, always, will keep changing. But even as that change means the death of temporary forms, because all forms are temporary, it also means the birth of new forms. This world, this universe, it will keep becoming. The aliveness, it does not stop, it just changes forms. And through all that change, love travels. Love that holds it, love that is larger than all the incomplete forms and changing reality. The ways that love shows up and the forms in which it comes will keep changing. And especially when we love mortal and fickle flesh, that change means loss. When we talk about faith, regardless of God, some sort of faith in something larger, faith in the universe, faith in the becoming, it means that we trust love is still there, will still be there, will show up again, even in another form. The memory of the departed beloved that will, yes, I promise, eventually make us smile. The giggle of the newborn baby who has grandma's eyes. The gentle warmth of the sun on our skin as the earth turns yet again to spring. The glory of hope for new life, beginning again, as it always will. Trust in the universe does not mean it will all work out as you specifically imagine it. It won't. It does not mean that death will be banished or you will be protected from loss. Death and loss and mortality and change, those will remain. But you can trust that love and goodness and joy and delight will return in their seasons, in new shapes, in something growing again and again and again. We can trust love to hold in the larger sense, bigger and beyond than the specifics, moving through people and changing shapes. Trust means that there will still be love on the other side of change, always and forever. Whatever name you give to the blanket you throw over the mystery, however you perceive it, however you understand its shape and make meaning of it, you can trust the movement of love and life and even death through the larger world, through the universe itself. Things will change, death will come, and there will be loss, and love will come back. Again and again, life and consciousness will keep reshaping themselves in an ever-evolving, infinitely unfolding song and dance of beauty and relationship that is beyond any finite, mortal reality. When Kronman's mother was dying, the last thing that she said to him was, "The world comes back." He reflects, perhaps what she meant is this: that the world from which we are separated at birth returns to reclaim us at death, that it leaves no stragglers behind. The world comes back, always, and we return to it. The world sings to us, and our lives sing to it of an immortality that we can only achieve through becoming one with all that is. This beauty, this song, this grace of moon and water, particle and wave, fire and sun, bird song, and final release. We are entangled with it, with all of it, trying to discern its song through our lives, but in surrender, finally, perhaps, we just sing. May it be so. Dear ones, may we surrender to the larger song which does not end, and trust life and love to keep coming back, to claim us. May it be so. Will you rise for hymn 108, How Can I Keep from Singing?